Hey, how you doing? It's Dan here, shooting you a video with a quick little thought for the day or idea for the day, because I've basically spent the afternoon planning and strategizing and mapping out the system architect infrastructure, whatever you want to call it, the system infrastructure for my main company and how that's going to pan out moving forwards. Now, the idea that I want to share with you is something which you probably heard before, which is start with the end in mind. But I'm going to talk about why this is so important, because I think often it's one of these cliche phrases that is thrown out. Hello, Bear. Bear the dog. There he is. Oh, sorry, his face. My camera's face tracking me, so I can't actually show you Bear. There you go. So this idea of start with the end in mind. Now, the relevancy of this is that if you don't know exactly where you're going, and I know this is going to sound obvious, but bear with me, but if you don't know exactly where you're going, then every single action that you take and every little thing that you do is kind of going to be random, and you're kind of going to end up drifting just wherever the winds will take you, right? So when we start with the end in mind, and when we have a very clear direction of exactly where we're going, why we're doing what we're doing, and we can put that idea or that concept or that long-term vision or aim ahead of us, and then start designing whatever, life you want to live, or whatever business we want to build, or even down to a smaller scale, what you want to do for the weekend or something like that. But if you can get used to living by this concept and actually figuring out and planning where you're heading to, and then start putting those steps in place to get there, the results that you can achieve are so much more efficient, fast, and much bigger, than the results that you would achieve if you don't have that plan in the first place. Now, one little caveat, and this is super, super, super important, and I've learned this through multiple failures and multiple experiences, and losing many thousands of pounds or dollars if you're in the US on bad decisions or really not having that clarity. One thing that is very important to remember is that even if you don't know exactly every single step that you're going to take, the most important thing is that you have the end in mind, you have that target, and you've worked out some stepping stones to get from where you are now to meet and reach your target. And what a lot of people will do is they will procrastinate and paralyze themselves because they don't know exactly every single step. That was quite loud. They don't know every single step that they're going to take, and so because they can't see absolutely every eventuality and everything that could or could not happen, they end up doing nothing and they stay paralyzed. So the caveat that I'm throwing out here is, you're starting with the end in mind, you're working out roughly how you're going to get there, but do not be attached to the how. All right? If your why is big enough, the how will just fall into place. It's when somebody reaches that point where they're no longer willing to tolerate any other option other than achieving what it is that they want to achieve, and then the hows of how you're going to get there don't even matter that much anymore. All right? So make sure when you're going through this process and you're starting with the end in mind, you're figuring out a plan, it really is just a rough plan. It doesn't need to be every contingency, every little thing that could happen, every possibility or option. Just make sure it's rough stepping stones that are going to guide you towards where you ultimately want to get to. All right? If you do that and you've got that framework, and then you can start taking action, you're taking action in a very specific, laser-focused, pointed direction to achieve a specific result. All right, so hope this helps, hope that's useful, and I look forward to speaking to you maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. We'll see. All right, bye for now.